Hello and welcome to another episode of the Chrissie Mayr podcast. We are on iTunes, YouTube, Spotify, and SoundCloud. And if you're listening to us on iTunes right now, please leave a 5-star review. Very excited for the holidays. Gosh, it's Christmas week already. But it's important to think about what are your plans going to be for New Year's? What are your plans going to be for after New Year's? And the answer to that question is your plans are to see me at my album recording on Thursday, January 6th at Governor's in Levittown. That's in Long Island, Strong Island. I better see you guys come out. This is my first comedy special taping, my first album taping. It's going to be dope. If I went to high school with you and you look much better now, I better see you at this freaking show, okay? If we dated in high school or college and you know what I mean? You want to tell me how you feel? This is a great show to just show up at and just spill the beans. You know what I mean? If you've been quietly stalking me, well, no stalkers. I mean, sure, come if you're a stalker, but don't hurt me or anything. Just hugs. All right. I'm very stoked for this album recording. Thursday, January 6th at Governor's in Levittown. Get your tickets now. Go to my website, ChrissieMayr.com, or you can go to the Governor's Comedy Club website, which is govs.govs.com. Got a bunch of dates after the album recording. I think I'm going to be in Danbury, Connecticut, January 14th. And then we're going to be up in Albany, Comedians of the Compound, I think the 24th. And then I will be heading to Savannah, Georgia in March, and then Florida in March. Tampa, but we'll probably add some more dates in there too. Guys, I have shirts like the one I'm wearing right now. Have yourself a Mayr Chrissie Miss. Go to tpublic.com. You can get this shirt. You can get a bunch of other shirts like my Mayr shirt right here. It's like the Obama thing, but not Mayr. And also Make America Great Again, also for sale at tpublic.com. I also have a collab going now with Silk City Hot Sauce. It's called Nightmare. Look at this art. I'm on the front. It's me eating somebody's insides. This is a delicious verde sauce. There's other ingredients in there that I don't remember right now, but it's delicious. Great on eggs, great on whatever. If you're my friends who are hot sauce people love this. So that's all I need to know. Nightmare. Go to levinskystopshelf.com. Get the Nightmare hot sauce. This is only $10 a bottle, but if you use the promo code CMP, you get a few bucks off. So get on that right now. Get it for yourself. Get it for the holidays. Whatever. YOLO, right? You could get it just to use it as a sexual rag. I'm not trying to be too gross. I'm so excited to have this guy on the show today. We've been buds together. We have been appeared together on Friday Night Tights for a couple months now, but I'm so excited to have him here on the show today. He's a culture war commentator, much like myself, a free speech advocate, much like myself, a movie and comic book fan. He is the strong, silent presence on Friday Night Tights. Welcome to the show, Comics Division.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm so excited that you're here.
No, thank you. Thanks for having me. And also, I got a question for you.
Okay.
Do you keep the a bottle of hot sauce in your purse like Hillary Clinton?
No, because I am not trying to pander to the blacks. Okay. I know that they like me for the size of my rear end. Okay. I don't need to carry around hot sauce in my purse all the time. Although I do tend to carry around a really big tote bag, especially when I go into the city. So I would definitely have room for hot sauce. But knowing me, this would open up inside my purse, much like every other liquid.
And ruin everything.
Every other liquid I try to carry with me. That's just, you can't carry liquids unless it's like a tight water bottle with a tight seal. You cannot, I've learned this, you cannot carry a banana. I don't care if that banana is super unripe and it's very hard and stiff, because it will suddenly ripen within minutes of being in your purse and it will explode on the bottom. It will cover everything else that's in your purse. But you know this. You have a wife who tells you things.
I do. Yeah.
And Comix, we were talking before we went live, and Comix was like, you know, I'm feeling really self-conscious because I just got my Invisalign today. And then I was like, I wouldn't have noticed if you hadn't said anything.
Oh, I think the list for the time being is very apparent on certain, things like S's. Anyway,
It'd be like, I wish you a very lisp miss.
Yeah.
Very Merry Lisp.
Hello,
miss.
nerds.
Hey, I saw this movie was underproduced.
I feel like I sound like Shelley from South Park.
Oh yeah, that's good. I think it works. I just had I did this show called the CMP, which is basically just a podcast with other girls on it.
Mhm.
And did this come up? No, this actually came up on Wet Spot, my other show. Somebody called into the show. This was an insane story that I almost don't even believe. But this guy was hooking up or dating this woman who had Invisalign, and he'd be kissing her, and he'd be like, "What am I tasting?" And I guess it came to be that like she was blowing so many dudes that like the secretions ended up like the Invisalign ended up absorbing her extracurricular activities, to which I responded that this is now become an Invisalign. And I guess this guy was tasting this or picking up on the essence.
Gross.
And it's so gross. I know that you don't have that problem. But just, to look on the bright side, it could be worse.
Yeah, it could be worse.
Yeah, I didn't know that they were so absorptive. Is that a word?
I guess so.
Porous. But you know what? Like, this is good because you can't even see the Invisalign.
No, you can't. How did you do that? You can't see it.
Feel good about the fact because I had braces in college and it was brutal. I think my parents were like, "Oh, she's getting pretty friendly with the boys. Let's put a sharp stop to that." And they slapped braces on me sophomore year of college. The orthodontist lied to my face. He said, "Oh, this is no big deal. A year or two." It was like 3+ years.
Yeah, I didn't have them as a kid, but my dentist is like, "Yeah, you're chipping your teeth, specifically my bottom ones, which is the reason why I have to have them now."
Are you a grinder when you sleep?
No, they're just crowded, and so the bite pattern, it's basically from chewing, has caused some of my teeth to chip a little bit.
Oh man, yeah, that happens. Like, it's just life. Like, I had a piece of my back molar that had chipped off, and I was like so upset with myself. I was like, here, I think I'm being responsible with what I'm putting in my mouth. I'm not like eating candy apples. I'm not like chomping down, but I guess it just happens. Like, little pieces of your teeth just say, "You know what? I've had it. I'm out of here.
We're done." Yeah.
Yeah. When I was summer before 6th grade, I don't know why I was playing with a bungee cord. This was before cell phones, but I had a bungee cord and I was like trying to fling it that way.
Oh, it popped right in your eye?
But instead I let go of this hand
nice.
and it chipped a huge piece of my front tooth. One of them, I forget, it's that one or that one. It's one of them. It was such a big piece that like I could feel like the nerves. Like when I touched the bottom of my tooth, the nerves were like hot and I was like, ah. It was like exposed nerve feeling. And what was wild is that I had a dentist appointment that day anyway. So my mom just like made me wait a couple hours. She like made everybody lunch. She was in no hurry to get me there.
I chipped a tooth from my my tongue piercing.
Let's dial it back. You have a tongue piercing? You've been hiding it from me this whole time?
Yep.
Wow. Okay. I want to speak to Mrs. Comix division. She's probably a happy camper.
Yeah.
When did you get a tongue ring?
I was in my mid-30s, I think.
Ooh. Yeah. Did you get it for the express purpose of going down on chicks?
No, it was something I wanted to try. But yeah, it doesn't hurt in that department, that's for sure.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. Did it hurt to get it pierced?
No, because there's not a lot of feeling in your tongue. So it felt like pressure. The worst piercing I ever had, I got my nipples pierced at one point. And
my God. How come we haven't discovered this? Why is no one talking about this?
Well, I don't have them anymore, mainly because, I take martial arts and sometimes you get punched in certain areas.
You get punched in the tit.
I've been punched in the tit twice and it ended up breaking both my piercings. And I was like, well, fuck it. I'm taking them out. Yeah. But the second the first one I got wasn't that bad. When they did the second one, I fucking screamed. It hurt so bad.
Which nipple was more painful, the left or the right?
I want to say they did the left one first and then the right one.
So the right one was more painful. I wonder if that's because that's over your heart, or no, maybe it's not.
I don't know. I think it's the fact that it was the second one. And it's funny because the guy who was doing it is like, yeah, it's always the second one that hurts the most.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You would think it would be the first one because you don't even know what to expect.
Yeah.
Do you also have tattoos that you're hiding from me? What's going on?
No, I don't. My wife is the one who has the tattoos, but I had quite a few ear piercings too that ended up coming out. And I had my conch pierced for a while in my right ear.
Your conch?
Yeah.
What's a conch?
It's basically inside the ear, like right in here.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And it was a big ass. I won't say it was a big ass hoop, but it was a hoop. And like when I first got it pierced, it was a pain in the ass. Like really bad, because I tend to sleep on my side, and it would act like a kickstand because it would kind of pop out.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Eventually, I'm trying to remember why that one came out, but I was wanting to replace it. I think what happened is I ended up losing or something. I don't remember. Anyway, so that healed up. I had another one, another cartilage piercing up here, and that one came out, and that one actually I was trying to get another piercing for it, and it healed up like within a day or two.
Wow.
Yeah.
I got my cartilage pierced too. I think it might be this ear. I got it pierced freshman year of college with my gay best friend, Chris Taggart. Shout out to Chris. I don't know if he's listening, but this was like our little secret. We both got it together. And I don't know if they did your cartilage piercing with a gun, but they did mine with a needle. So I could actually hear the crunching. Like I could hear them.
Are better than going with the gun.
Right, because the gun can create scar tissue or something. Like it can shoot out ear parts.
It's just bad. Anytime you go get a piercing, go to not like a mall stand where they use the gun. Go to a professional place that does tattoos and piercings. They'll use the needle, and that is a better way of getting a piercing.
So, okay. So my guy actually did it the right way with the needle. I was just like, what is with this medieval torture? I was like, why would they not do the gun? But
oh no, the gun is so bad.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. I was like, I always thought that the people who had like cauliflower ears from wrestling, I always thought that was like a piercing gone wrong.
Could be.
But it's like I guess it's wrestling when
it's wrestling.
Rub your ear into the mat. That's so crazy to me.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of like mixed martial artists have them from getting punched in the ear.
Do you have that going on?
No.
Did you get punched in the ear?
No, not really. What I take is Kempo, which is a self-defense art.
Kempo.
So it's not actually like MMA or anything like that. It is they call it a multiple assailant system.
Ooh, so if you have multiple guys coming after you.
Yeah, Ed Parker, the guy who designed the system, he's from Hawaii. He moved to California, and he realized that people in the States fight differently than they do on the islands.
We fight like this. We just hands.
They fight more kind of like one-on-one. It's more, I would say, honorable combat, but it's like you bring your friends, they bring their friends, the two of you guys fight, and then that's it. Where in the States, you guys get in a fight, the guy has his friends, he'll jump you. it's basically free for all. Yeah.
I've seen a lot of viral videos. Yeah, it's just a lot of driving by, a lot of shooting, a lot of it's crazy times. Wow. So you can defend yourself if you had like 5 guys. You're prepared to be jumped, is what you're saying.
I would say I have more of a fighting chance than I would if I didn't take anything.
Wow. Why is this turning me on? I'm imagining multiple guys coming at me. I would resort to my strongest skill set, which is not fighting. So I would just I'd have to jerk my way out of that situation.
Well, a lot of it too. It's like, it's not like a manly thing where we're going to, duke it out. No, it's like you disable your opponent and you get the hell out of there, because the longer you stay in a fight, the more likely you are to get injured.
True. Or end up having a statue made in your honor.
Yeah.
Nobody wants that.
Pretty much, yeah. That's
neat, though. Okay, wow. I had no idea, because you're like the strong, silent type on Friday Night Tights. Your commentary is always so spot on. I want to know like how you came to be on Friday Night Tights, but I guess we can rewind it before that, because I think, did you start your channel before Friday Night Tights or kind of at the same time?
Gary, I believe, started his channel before I did. I don't know how much longer before, but when I met Gary, I think he was around 400, 700 subs, right around there. I was about maybe 150, 200. And I started my channel talking about comic books. Obviously, it's in the name. Bad name, by the way, folks, especially if you stop talking about something.
I don't dislike it.
I don't either, but it's like, I don't talk about comic books anymore as much as I used to.
Okay.
And a lot of it was, I mean, I won't say hot off the tails of like Gamergate. When Gamergate happened, I wasn't involved with it. I had no idea what the hell was going on. I just happened to see all these articles talking about, Zoe Quinn and certain things that were going on. I'm like, what the hell is going on? And it wasn't until like many years later I looked into it. And then you kind of had the same thing, I won't say very similar situation, but you start seeing a lot of very progressive SJW talking points making its way into Marvel comic books. And I wouldn't say I kind of fell down a rabbit hole, but it's like I started watching some really progressive content, which led me to find Dave Rubin, which led me to find Captain Cummings. And he basically was talking about a lot of stuff that's going on in comic books. The things I started noticing things, and I'm like, what's going on here? I didn't fully understand. And then I found Diversity in Comics and started listening to his content and Phil Cummings' content. And I also found I Love Comics, and they're all talking about the stuff. And I've been wanting to do like a YouTube channel talking about comics for, I'd say, probably since like 2013. And I was like, I have to say something. I see all this stuff. I was very familiar with SJWs and the fact that, I was watching a lot of content from what was called the skeptic community at the time. Shoe on Head, Chris Raygun, Armored Skeptic, the Worskies. And I got to the point, it's like, I got to talk about this stuff. And a lot of it to me, it's like, I want to talk about it, but I want to also mock it at the same time, because that's what, I think bad ideas deserve, is to be mocked and made fun of. Mm-hmm. And, to a degree, this, thing called Comicsgate started, and, a lot of channels grew out of it, and, criticizing Marvel specifically, because they're the ones who were really kind of driving it. And it was terrible, Chrissie. It was like really, really bad. And this basically
2013-ish.
Or after that? I would say probably started around 2015. You had several kind of big blowouts within comics. There was a issue of Captain America where there was a character named Jet, I think her name was, and Falcon ended up sleeping with her, and that caused some kind of controversy for some reason. And then the big one was the Milo Manara cover of Spider-Woman, where she's kind of like on this building, and she's like, her ass is kind of perched up and all this stuff, and it totally blew up. And the comic hadn't even come out yet. And I want to say that they ended up pulling the cover. And this is Milo Manara. If you know anything about him, he does. I think I recall he's a French artist, and he does a lot of provocative stuff. So it was this very kind of provocative look. And if you really think about it, it's like she was basically crawling like a spider. There's plenty of like other drawings of Peter Parker in a very similar position, but they were saying that she was being overly sexualized, which was not necessarily the case. So anyway, I think that's really where it started happening.
His style is like very much like he's very good, but it's like he draws like foxy looking chicks. Mm-hmm. Like he draws people, I think, to like look their best, which you would want in a comic artist.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. So there was a lot of stuff started happening. You start seeing the artwork go to shit because you can't draw sexy women anymore because
they're all being objectified.
All being objectified. The male gaze
being objectified ruins it for the rest of us.
And there were a couple of other artists that were kind of canceled. Frank Cho is another one. He drew this really kind of cool picture. It was a cover for Wonder Woman. And because she flashed a little bit of underwear, people got outraged and he got fired. He got fired from DC.
Wow.
Yeah.
Much like I think Ethan Van Sciver got fired from DC.
Yep.
I don't know if they work together.
I don't think they did directly, but yeah. So a lot of what I started doing was reading these comics and reviewing them and just making fun and just trashing the shit out of them because it was fun and funny. And that's the only thing you can do. And so many people, I think, brought so much attention to it that Marvel had to back down. They weren't getting the sales that they were wanting. I think they had to dial it back a bit. And but what they did is they ended up replacing all of their like mainstream characters with forced diversity replacements. And this was called All New, All Different. They replaced Captain America, Steve Rogers, with Falcon, which is basically what they're doing right now in Disney. They went and replaced Bruce Banner with Amadeus Cho, which is basically an Asian Hulk. And I'm trying to remember. Oh, yeah. They also killed off Tony Stark, kind of, and replaced him with Riri Williams. So you have all the stuff that would happen. And it wasn't like they just did it one character, right? Nobody would complain if they did that. But they literally did it with every character. They even did it with Thor. They basically, he lost faith in himself and couldn't wield the hammer anymore. And then Jane Foster, who has cancer, went and picked it up and became, Lady Thor. And
so this is like a systematic replacing of all the old characters. Yeah,
they killed off Wolverine and replaced him with X-23, which is a female character. And all these characters were fine on their own, but they wanted to go and kind of push this forced diversity thing. And they hired Gabby Rivera to write for America Chavez. And oh my God, you have to read her run because of how terrible it is. Yeah, it is like funny, legit funny. They made Iceman gay for some reason. And we like to joke that it was forced conversion because it was Jean Grey saying, "Bobby, you're gay." And so she basically, makes him gay. And it's like for the history of this character, the character's never been gay. None of a hint of being bi.
And it's also like were the sexuality of these characters like kind of remained ambiguous across the board?
No,
like
they
were decidedly straight.
No, they were decidedly straight. Yeah, like, wow. I want to say like I can't remember. I think it was like Kitty Pryde that was kind of dating Bobby for ages.
Okay,
I think. It's been a while, and yeah, it's just and then they hired Cena Grace to write the Iceman series, which was pretty funny. So Cena Grace is a gay man, and since they made Iceman gay, they have a gay man writing for it. And again, it was just abysmally bad, but it was funny. It was so easy to make fun of because of how terrible it was. It wasn't boring. It was just outrageously stupid.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And this is all happening kind of all at once in a period of a few years.
It happened like not even a period of several years. This happened like in 6 months.
Wow. That's a lot of change in a short period of time.
Yeah. So how I ended up meeting Gary, because I was streaming with Anglantine from I Love Comics. Great dude, really knows his comic book history. He also has a very good channel as well. And he hit me up one day. It was funny because it was on my birthday. I was having a complete shit day from work.
Oh.
And I was like, he said, "Hey man, I love your content." I was like, "Hey, thanks." It's like it kind of made my day. So I a couple of people kind of hit me up that day, some old friends. Wishing me happy birthday, and then Gary hits me up, and so we start streaming together on my channel. Since we're talking about comics, there was another person who I met named Feisty Fan. She basically was a comic book manager, and since Gary previously owned a comic shop, we would talk about the industry, and he had Friday nights going at the time period, so I was there on occasion. And like every Thursday, we just talk about what's going on in the industry and how it's falling apart. And, we did this for like a number of years. And then I'm trying to remember, he got pretty busy, specifically Friday Night Tights. And then he ended up quitting his job. And at that point in time, his channel really started exploding. And I don't remember what happened between him and his previous host, but that's when he invited me on. And so I became one of the co-hosts, and then Odin came on, and then Jeremy, and the rest is kind of history. Everyone started showing up, and now we have the crew that we have now, and it's just been an amazing ride. The fact that, like I said, I've known Gary since he had like 700 subs, and now he is just so freaking huge is amazing.
And you guys, it feels like I'm getting the sense that you guys are also like friends outside of
absolutely
streaming.
Yeah. I've been trying to convince Gary to move to Texas like the last 2-3 years.
And you're finally getting your wish. Yeah. Yeah, it seems to me that's what a lot of people are doing. And you're like born and raised?
No, I'm also from California.
Oh, wow. So when did you make the trip?
I was pretty young. I was a kid. My mom, her parents were here, and after my mom and my dad got divorced, she moved here, and so I've been here, for the majority of my life.
I was gonna give you props for like even as a child, you're like, I can't stand woke culture. Let's get out of California.
It wasn't as bad then. California went to shit in like I don't know. Gary would probably know better than I, because I haven't been there. I would say probably like over the last 20 years.
Wow. Yikes. Yeah. I think the only time I went to LA was February. Yeah, it was March of 2020. It was like right as all the pandemic stuff was starting.
Mm-hmm.
And I was so lucky because the whole trip was great up until the last day. That's when I had people cancel on podcasts and everyone was like panic shopping. And like I found myself in West Hollywood in a grocery store and everyone's panic buying stuff. And I just was like, I felt compelled that I needed to buy a bunch of like alcohol, like was it rubbing alcohol or regular alcohol? I also bought many small bottles of Listerine. I emptied the mouthwash out for some reason and put alcohol into these little bottles and took them all on the plane with me. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna need these. Like I don't know if I thought I was gonna just throw alcohol at everything in my path and just like clean it all off. That was like dumb. And I think I still have those like little bottles.
Yeah, well, I mean, you had good reason to panic, honestly. I've been doing some prepping over the years, and it was pretty funny.
For doomsday or just
emergency. Well, I mean, just look at how the last 2 years have been, right?
And it's like, yeah, you could use a bucket of dried gummy worms or whatever's in those buckets.
It was funny because it was like getting close to the end of February, and I'm like, I'm gonna go to the grocery store right now. And so I do. I tell my wife, and she's like, what are you expecting? A store run? I was like, no, that's why I'm going now. And I bought like $250 worth of food and went back the next day, bought like another $250 worth of food. I mean, I have like a freaking big ass pantry in my garage.
Ooh.
Yeah. And yeah, I've never gone, I've always done, like I said, some prepping. I've always had more than, I would say, at least 30 days worth of food on hand. Now it's probably more like 6 months.
Wow. Do you get beans? Do you get lentils?
I got a bunch of stuff.
What's good, like preppy type food to have around?
Stuff that you eat.
Just whatever it is you eat. Like, yeah, canned. I imagine I would be like panic and start eating things I don't normally eat. Like, oh, I got to get canned peaches.
Well, yeah, I mean, you want to make sure you get a good mixture of stuff, but you want to make sure you get stuff that you will actually eat, because you don't want to be like eating this going, oh my God, I hate this. But I did that. And then the funny thing was later that week on Friday, so I hit the store before Friday Night Tights, and everything is freaking cleared out.
Wow.
Everything.
This is February of 2020, or this is March or no?
Well, this is March now.
Okay.
And yeah, it was pretty insane. Maybe it was a week after. I don't remember. I mean, everything fucking blends together after a while. But I swear it was actually that week, or it could have been the following week. But that was when, because I had heard from various people. There's obviously people I watch on YouTube that were talking about this, but I actually have a friend who lives in Australia, and he's talking about toilet paper sold out. And I'm like, really?
Whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's when I fucking bought like a bunch of toilet paper.
What is it about like a mass freak out that makes people buy more toilet paper? Because I know when I'm feeling anxious, I actually shit less. Like my body clams up, everything shuts down until my butthole can feel relaxed again.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe with men it's different. Like you guys are just
I don't know, man. In certain situations, my body will do the same thing, but it's just I'm not really sure what caused the panic buying of toilet paper, but I guess it's the idea of that if it's apocalypse, you're not gonna have any more toilet paper. So there you go. And
I would dip into my free t-shirt collection. I'd be like, you know what? Sorry. All the t-shirts that I feel bad about donating that are like my friends' shirts, or like, all my different porn star friends give me like their free shirts, and I have to be like, okay. And I save those so that during an apocalypse, I'd be like, I'm so sorry, Mr. Marcus, I had to use your shirt to wipe my ass. And then I wouldn't feel bad.
But look at what's going on now. We had this huge run on food at the beginning of 2020, and which I would say there were shortages for at least about a good 3 to 6 months. Things were limited. Like you can only pick up like, I think it was like 3 or 4 items of meat at for like several months. And then, which has led to supply chain shortages because of the breakdown of the supply chain. And, we have all these shortages going on that a lot of people don't know about. I went to the store. I'm going to be baking a cheesecake for the holidays.
Ooh, Italian or American?
American.
Okay.
Chocolate cheesecake.
Ooh,
but
fancy.
Apparently, my wife was telling me, apparently Philadelphia is paying people $20 not to make cheesecakes.
What?
Yeah, because there's a cream cheese shortage.
That I've heard about, because New York City
idea.
is a big bagel community, and which only makes me crave bagels and cream cheese more.
Yeah.
So, wow. So did you heed that warning, or you're like, to me that
I didn't know. I already bought it.
Like, fuck it, I want this cheesecake even more now.
Yeah. So it's nuts. I mean, you have like this perfect storm of shit going on right now. This is the reason why I prep. And it's not like I'm not prepping for doomsday, even though I went and bought a ranch so I can grow my own food. It's,
that's what I want to do.
It's precautionary, It's like I'm not super freaking out, but I want to be in a position that if things really do get bad, and which they have the potential to do over the next 3 years, I want to be in a situation where I can provide, my own food just in case. And another thing that we're in short supply of is artificial fertilizer, which is going to exacerbate food shortages if you think about it.
Wow.
So yeah, it's
Can't
not
we
good.
Just use our own poop?
No.
That's what we do with cows, right?
It's different. Okay. A lot of it is because of they're not herbivores. Yeah, they're herbivores. So their fecal material is more kind of like rich in certain nutrients that plants crave.
Ours has McDonald's in it. Yeah.
Where ours is can spread disease.
Right.
like E. coli.
Yeah. So it's like the opposite of what you want to put near your food.
So the whole thing with the Martian, where he basically is using his own poop to fertilize potatoes, would actually kill him.
Okay, that was fake news. All right.
Yeah.
Uber Geek, thank you, Comix, for giving me meme ideas for FNT.
No, you are welcome, because those meme ideas are, I won't say my meme ideas, but the memes you guys create are fantastic.
They're so funny. Like, I spend so much time. I'm always looking in the chat because I want to see what they're saying. Like, I look on Twitter and see what they're posting. And
it's like Uber Geek and Renee. Oh my God, it is such gold.
They're on point. From 32 flavors of Nickelweiser, Dick's Division Assemble.
What's up, Nick Weiser? How you doing, man?
Any relation to Joy Division?
Well, the name that I came up with, yes, actually. It was funny. Yeah, absolutely. It's pretty funny because a lot of people picked up on it. Gary was one of the first people that picked up on it. And
like, you have a sister named Joy.
No. I was listening.
No, I know the band.
Yeah. I was listening to Joy Division while I was driving to the store, and I was trying to think of a name. I was like, Comix Division. It's like, yeah, there you go.
That's cool.
It's like, that's catchy, right?
It sounds good. Why? Like, if you could go back, would you have picked a different name, or would you now pick a different name?
I don't know. I mean, I've gone back and forth about changing it. I'm not going to. I mean, I'm almost at 10,000 subs now. So it's really kind of pointless to change it. It's the whole branding thing.
Yeah.
But it's like I probably would have picked something a little different. But I mean, it works. It's fine. People like it.
Did you not want to go by your real name?
No.
For like jobby reasons? See, that never occurred to me. That would have been, if I could turn back time, I would pick a different name.
Yeah. I mean, it's seeing just like what's been going on, even back then when I started the channel in 2017. you know, I was kind of already aware of cancel culture. Cancel culture was already a thing, right? And I didn't want my YouTube channel to interfere with my day job. So that's the reason why I did it.
Smart. Queen the Q agrees. Comics, smartest man in the room.
Nah, I wouldn't go that far.
Let's see. I think somebody else agrees too. Oh, it's a Gungan.
It's a Gundam. I mistaken.
I know. I almost said that. I was like, that's not him. It's a different Gungan. A couple of my favorite FNTers, the smartest guy in the room and the funniest one in the room. Keep it up. You both have a great dynamic.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks, Gungan. Wow. All right. Somebody wants to know the freeze-dried stuff you've tested out.
Mountain House is pretty good. I've used it quite a bit camping. So I'd go with Mountain House. I haven't tried out Wise or anything like that. So I know there is product out there that is shit.
Okay.
But you can't go wrong with Mountain House.
Looks like my doctor's in the chat here. Christy doesn't eat enough fiber. Thanks, Simon. Maybe. What is fiber? Vegetables?
Like bran muffins, I guess.
Like what's a way to make that fun? Bran muffins, but then it's
butter and honey.
Carbs. I don't know. My favorite thing about going on Friday Night Tights is like I've always kind of enjoyed these movies, and actually, I mean, I've been with my boyfriend 7 years, and he's the one that kind of got me into, like Marvel, the Avengers, like all of it. And now it's like, okay, now it feels like I have homework assignments. I have to see these, I have to see these movies. I have to know because we're going to talk about them. Spider-Man is the one that just came out. I'm going to see The Matrix, I think Christmas Eve morning. But Spider-Man,
it's already out now, and apparently it's
shit. Yes, yeah, I was seeing the guys talking about that.
I haven't had a chance to watch it yet. I'm gonna probably do that tomorrow. I was wanting to do a review, but that will probably come later. It's funny whenever you're on vacation. It's like, okay, I have all these aspirations to make content, and the wife goes, "Okay, here's the honeydew list." And I'm like, "Ah, crap."
Honeydew? What's on your honeydew list?
It's just like some stuff like my garage is a wreck right now, and I've been slowly cleaning it out.
Imagine it's like garage, laundry, toss my salad. Like my honeydew list would all just be sexual favors. Gross. Maybe.
I had the flooring replaced in my house.
Hey.
Yeah, so there's some like baseboard shit I need to finish off.
Oh, your actual flooring you're talking about. Okay. Yeah.
Nothing that exciting, Chrissy.
What would flooring be? Like, oh, I had my floors done. It's like I bleached my butthole.
Yeah.
My flooring. That's the one part of your body you would think would be okay to look like shit. But no, even now, there's pressure to do things to your butthole. I mean,
I don't get that. I really don't.
Yeah, like it's obviously coming from porn, porn watching, and you go, I guess you look at enough buttholes to realize, oh, you know what? Let's clean it up a little, like let's keep your whites whiter. I don't know.
Yeah,
but a butthole.
They do like some weird thing in India too with like vaginal bleaching.
Yeah, there's vag bleaching, tightening, lifting. There's labiaplasty. There's a lot going on. Okay. Yeah. JS Pena. Hey, Comics. Where's Tom? I haven't seen him on FNT lately.
I don't know. I'll be honest with you. I don't really have any insight into that.
Yeah. We're not all friends. Curious if Chrissy has carpet on her flooring. Currently, yes, I do. I had to move my wax appointment actually twice, and now it's a little squirrely down there because I missed my appointment because I just was not going to go into the city the other day. And I had a gift for her too. Like, I've really found such a good waxer. Her name is Nydia, and I got a gift for her and everything. I was like excited to give it to her. Because she was
it a green card?
She's been for this girl, maybe I would. She's that good. She's that thorough. She's given me some waxes so thorough, Comics, that I'm like, do I have to bring this girl home? Like, are we involved now? Are we together? Anyway, she's very special to me. So I'll have to see her soon. It's going to be pretty cray next time I go. So Spider-Man was really awesome. I'm wondering, what are your thoughts on it? Like, I mean, we've gone into it a little bit on the show, but like I don't feel like we've gone into it like super in depth. Um, do you feel like the success of Spider-Man is a sign that movie makers and goers, or like this is a reflection of a changing of the times, swinging back of the pendulum? Like there was no overt wokeness in this movie. Like
no, there wasn't.
There were
thankfully.
subtleties of like, okay, Spider-Man saves a quietly you know, multiracial family.
Yeah, no big deal. No.
There are people in positions of power who are not white, and they're not in your face about telling you, oh, look, this black woman runs the MIT admissions. It's just sort of, it's there and it's accepted kind of.
Yeah, I'll take that over things that we've gotten in the past, right?
Do you think this is a sign of changing times, or it just happened to work out this way and now people are seeing how successful it is?
I don't know. I'd like to be optimistic and say, yes, this is a sign that things are changing. But I know better. And I think the reason why Disney can get away with it, they can get away with making woke content and pushing the message, is because they have very deep pockets. And the reason why they have very deep pockets is because of the parks. So they can go and fuck up Marvel Comics. They can go and fuck up the MCU and Star Wars, et cetera, because their money truly comes from, their parks. That's
wow.
Whereas Sony, on the other hand, is screwed, and they have to go and make good content if they want to stay in business. The whole thing, like right now with Marvel, if Marvel Comics and DC Comics were on their own right now and they were making this woke content, they'd be out of business within 3 months.
Damn.
But because they are being backed by these large corporations, they can push the message.
Right. And it's almost like they become like corporate mainstream news in the sense where it's like, it doesn't matter how many people are watching or what the ratings are. It's about the propaganda. It's about pushing the message, right? Because their money comes from elsewhere. With news, it comes from pharmaceutical companies. With, like Marvel and DC, comes from Disney, and they get money from the parks. So that makes a lot of sense. But then we have the public that are left feeling frustrated for years and having mixed feelings. Like every time a movie comes out, like Ghostbusters, which really pulls on the heartstrings and nostalgia, and you go and you're like, okay, like they brought back this guy who died. What's his face? The ghost guy. And but did they do the most with him that they could? I don't know. I liked Ghostbusters generally.
I liked it too. I thought it was a fun movie. It showed appreciation for the material, and didn't really go and shit on anything, which is basically what most people want. It wasn't the best film. I enjoyed it. I liked it. But one of the biggest things is that Ghostbusters itself was lightning in the bottle, and for it to go and be another Ghostbusters film was very challenging. And so, I mean, you really can judge this movie on two things: whether it was good or not, which it was, and whether it was actually a Ghostbusters movie, which it really wasn't. But like I said, Ghostbusters lightning in the bottle. The second movie wasn't that great. I mean, I still liked it. But this one, it's a challenge. I mean, there's some movies out there that are just better off being a solo film because of, I won't say how good it is, but the time period, how it resonated with the audience and whatnot. It's like Nick Weiser, we did a live stream last night talking about Die Hard, which is just, it's been a number of years since I watched it. I was like, wow, I've forgotten how fucking amazing this movie is. It's so simple. The writing is really well done. The story is great. It's a fun action film. And that's the thing that it's like, remember fun, folks? That's something we used to have. And
what? Fun?
Yeah, I know. But yeah. And so now we're just getting like these corporate messaged films, and a lot of this is being driven by ESG. If you're not familiar with what that is, it's environmental, social, and governance scores.
Oh, yes, they're doing that for corporations. Well, everybody now, you get a score of like basically like the extent to which you're pushing propaganda, the extent to which you're offering like diversity, inclusion training courses. It's really crazy, like what
it is.
And then I think that determines what probably like federal.
I don't know if it's federal. What I can tell you is that because it's being done by these large financial institutions, particularly ones that basically invest in companies, they're the ones that are coming up with the ESG scorings. So any kind of company that they go and invest in, the company that's being invested in has to adhere to these scores. So I don't know how much of this is being with Disney. I don't know if they're being invested heavily into by BlackRock. I think they are. I think BlackRock owns a lot of companies, and BlackRock is one of the biggest pushers of this. Same thing with Vanguard. And this is the reason why I started seeing the wokeness creeping into startups. You know, the company I work for, I'm not going to get into the details because, like I said, I don't want people to figure it out. Yeah. But the owner of the company started saying certain things. I'm like, this isn't making sense. This is not anything that this guy would say. And yeah, and it's gotten, you know, progressively worse as time has gone on. And it's because of these investment companies that are pushing ESG. So, and the other thing too that we have to look out for is that what they ultimately want is a social credit system here in America. We already have it in China. This is something that the Chinese government has rolled out. But in most Western countries that, you know, specifically the United States that has a constitution, doing something like that would be against the Constitution and it would be shut down really quickly. But if the corporations do it, which are to an extent an extension of the state, well, that's how they're going to do it. And the way they're going to be doing it is through ESG. They're already doing it right now with corporations. And ultimately, the goal is to roll it out to individuals.
It's so sneaky. It's so freaking sneaky. And I see it too with like friends who are in corporate jobs who report back to me like what's going on. And it's like, it's crazy. Like, especially like all this, who wants to volunteer to be a inclusion ambassador? And it's like, ugh, you know, and it's like my friends who are like assistants, you're not even in positions to hire people. You work under one person. Like what? How is you know, proving that you're less racist going to actually help your job? And it's like bullshit. It's all for show.
Yeah, it is all for show.
And we get so wrapped up in talking about like, well, the virus, you know, efficacy, vaccines, no vaccines, whatever. And that is an important side conversation, but the larger picture is like, at the end of the day, this happened. This was a plan for many years to usher in the social credit score, and however they do it. And the COVID is just a way for them to usher this in. Because
did you see that the Great Reset was trending today?
Yes, and that's exactly what they do. They take back these phrases that like not that the Great Reset was even a conspiracy theorist
no, it's not.
phrase. It was like created by Klaus Schwab and the World Economic Forum. This was like a plan that was set in place for many years. And whether the COVID was like, oopsie, it came out of the lab. All right, now we're doing this. But like we weren't planning this for a couple years, but it's happening. Like somebody tipped over a graduated cylinder and now this is happening.
Well, I think the reason why it's trending right now is they're doing damage control because some shit was leaked. No, some shit was actually leaked. Yeah.
I love it when shit leaks. Let me see.
Here, I will send you
put
this
it in
tweet.
The thing. Share it in the thing.
I have not read this yet. But it was sent to me by one of my viewers.
Me neither. From BEX. First time I tuned into your podcast. Seeing you on You Are Here show as well. On Twitter, love the conservative stuff. FJB. Thanks, Beeks. Yeah, You Are Here is great. I love Elijah and Sydney. They are two of my good friends. Uber Geek. Only film I really want to see now is The Northman. Trailer looks great. And for YouTubers,
good.
And for YouTubers, you don't get claimed. What's The Northman about?
Vikings.
Those are my people. I'm half Norwegian.
Yeah, it looks badass and it's filled with a lot of toxic masculinity.
Oh, that's my favorite. I always say, like, give me toxic masculinity over no masculinity.
But that's what they want, you know. They've been trying to paint just masculinity in general as being toxic.
Right. All of it's toxic, so shut it all down. Okay, breaking news. More letters being leaked, this time to Dutch Finance Minister Wopke Hoekstra. What a weird name. Shows direct collusion between Klaus Schwab's World Economic Forum and the Dutch government on pushing the Great Reset. Will any MSM outlets dare touch this?
Nope.
Look at this. Look at this. Who leaked this little paper? Okay, so in highlighted, it says, The discussions will focus on shaping policies for the post-COVID-19 era under the theme of the Great Reset. Your contribution to the work of the Great Reset will be especially critical at the annual meeting. The forum will work with your staff to ensure that your participation becomes a major force in shaping the Great Reset. So these are all instances of them calling it the Great Reset. And it's
the Great Reset, I mean, they have a website. I mean, you can actually go to the Great Reset website on the World Economic Forum. So it's not a secret that it's a thing. But what they're trying to spin it as, they're saying, oh, these are just policies to help us recover from COVID. And it's like, no, okay. And the thing is, the way they've been doing this for over a year now, they're saying, oh, the conspiracy theory is that they caused COVID and they're using it. It's like, no, they're taking advantage of the situation.
Absolutely.
The World Economic Forum didn't invent COVID. Okay.
Right.
That's
did.
Yeah. that's a flat out fabrication that the media is using to brand people that are against the Great Reset as being conspiracy theorists. And what it is that this thing happened. Klaus Schwab and a bunch of other people got together and they said, we're going to use this to transform capitalism into stakeholder capitalism, which is what they want. And this applies or plays in, I should say, with a lot of the wokeness, the ESG stuff. And it's not about, making a profit anymore, which is what businesses are supposed to be about. And obviously there are certain issues that can play into that as well. There's plenty of criticism, but shareholder capitalism is way better than stakeholder capitalism. And ultimately, what stakeholder capitalism does is that it's a way of getting corporations weaseling their way into governments and start making legislation. So what the end goal is, initially I said it was socialism and communism. What it actually is corporatism, which is potentially way worse because it's like if you read about any of the cyberpunk dystopian stuff, any books by William Gibson. Oh God, I'm totally blanking. We'll just stop there.
Any relation to Debbie Gibson?
No. I'm trying to remember the guy who wrote Hardwired. Hardwired.
Maybe somebody who's smart in the chat.
John, it's I want to say it's like John Williams something or other. I can't remember his last name.
John Williams.
But a lot of that, those worlds are corporatist worlds where corporations have more power than governments. And that's the first time we really saw it with the banning of Trump from Twitter.
Yes.
You have
it was unprecedented. They were like,
not just Twitter, but like literally everything, even like Uber Eats, I think. I mean, and that's
Uber Eats. Oh my God. A man can't even get a pizza or a McDonald's.
No, delivery. I mean, it's ridiculous, right? Now people are saying Gibson. No, let me go look it up real quick.
Okay, Hardwired. People are saying Gibson.
I mentioned Gibson already. So
super chat from Quinn the Q. When do we get our Chrissie pinup calendar? I'm gonna work on something, guys. I might need to I don't know, raise money for some studio stuff. I don't know. I do want to do a pinup calendar badly, and I don't know. Maybe I release? I mean, I have pinup calendar photos from like 10 years ago. I do want to do something with those. I know that calendar either is in storage or in a box somewhere because I'm like in between homes right now. I'm not homeless.
And people beat me to it. It's Walter John Williams.
Walter John Williams. Okay. Yeah. There we go. Spoon knew. River knew.
Yep.
You guys are so smart. Smartest chat ever.
Absolutely.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, it's like we're kind of eking our way to actually living in the cyberpunk dystopia. All we need is the cyberware now.
Ugh, right? And it's like, this is why I get full of rage when I see comedians going, oh, why can't you just make a fake Vax card? How come you can't figure it out? Like, if you can't figure out how to get a fake Vax card to get into XYZ comedy club or do whatever, you're stupid. I'm like, no, you're fucking stupid. Like, this is the worst thing. This is barely a Band-Aid. It's a very selfish Band-Aid for you personally to like get through the event. And it's like, you have no idea. Like, we should all be fighting this. I think just people have no idea how bad it can get and how important
look at what's going on in Australia and how they want to implement that in New York.
Yeah, they want to put, of course and that's the thing is if people if we say that, sure, yeah, let's participate in these vax papers and these vax mandates, and then enough people have the fake papers, Don't you think they haven't thought of that yet? Don't you think they are setting this up for people to have fake papers for them to then go, well, people are faking it. I guess we have to chip you. I guess we have to stick something in your neck, stick something in your wrist.
I don't think they'll do that. They'll do it through your smartphone because everybody has a smartphone. Yeah.
Right.
I mean, they don't have to chip you. That's the amazing thing about it.
You carry your chip around.
Yeah.
Yeah. But true. Then you'll still have your people like, my dad had a flip phone up until last year. So I don't know. It makes me so mad. Like people are just, I can't stand it when people are just selfishly thinking, oh, let me get through the week or the month and sneak around. And it's like,
yeah,
you guys are pussies. Like I have a good friend. They're having, they're my buddies. They're the comedian, fellow comedians at Compound Media, but they're having a roast for one of these comics. And he has been so outspoken the last 2 years about anti-mandates, COVID being, not that it's bullshit, but like how it's been handled is bullshit. It's the flu with the better publicist, blah, blah, blah. But they are having this roast at a comedy club where you have to show proof of vaccine. Oh, well, we'll sneak you in. Oh, well, we have fakes. And it's like, are you full of shit? Like, what? It wouldn't have been impossible to find another venue that doesn't require this. And also, if you're going to stay at this venue, like, just be like, yeah, we're not going to do it. And if we get fined $1,000, whatever it is, we'll pay it.
Right.
And the publicity would be dope. And guess what? You're standing up for something and you're walking the walk instead of talking the talk, which is so much easier to do. And it's disappointing. And it's like, I know I came out and said I wasn't going to perform anywhere that mandated proof of vaccine like in August. I assumed so many other comedians would follow suit. A couple have. Thank God Jim Brewer. It always helps when somebody much bigger and well-known than you comes out and does it. So it's like, okay, Brewer said it. But like, I'm shocked at how few comics are willing to really be willing to turn down work for this. I think people are not. I think it's because comedians generally don't make a lot of money and they don't want to turn down any work. So you have to be willing, to find other income streams, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. I think that goes for a lot of us too. I mean, that's the thing that is so scary about this is that, it's going to wake a lot of people up when they start coming for your income when you're unvaccinated. The idea of mandating stuff where you lose your job, that's the thing I find rather frightening. And I can't believe that there's so many people who are on board with this, use authoritarian measures to do that. And it's like, fuck your liberty, fuck your freedoms. And it's like, I don't get that. It's like, you realize that this is going to impact you in the long run, right? I mean, it's like, you are letting the government dictate what you can and cannot do with your body. How does that play into abortion later on in the future? If some very, very conservative people get into power, it's like you are setting very dangerous precedents that you think are not going to affect you, and then when you start crying about it in the future when it starts happening, it's gonna be like, you fucking voted for this shit, you supported this shit.
It's like, look, you weren't willing to walk away from your job when they mandated 1 or 2 shots. Like, well, now you're in for the duration. Well, now you're basically saying, yes, because I want to keep my job or this particular job, I am on. Now you can put as many shots as you want in me. You can booster as many boosters as you want. I'm here. I'm a pussy. And it's not that like everyone who gets vaccinated for their job is a pussy. Like, I don't mean that at all. People have families to feed. I just hate that they have coerced and twisted and been weaselly and sneaky and tricked people into getting something where it's like not actually technically legal, but like you said, it comes down to the corporations and private companies can technically release you at any time for any reason. So
no, it's the attitudes around it. And the thing that a lot of people don't get is that there are definitely some very disturbing parallels between Nazi Germany and what's happening right now. And of course, people were calling Trump a fascist and Hitler. And it's like, but he wasn't pushing for vaccine mandates.
Yeah. And you
know that if he did, the people that are for the mandates would be fucking flipping their shit.
Right. They tired out words like fascist, like Nazi, so that when the real fascist behavior comes out, well, we don't have a word for it anymore.
No, we don't.
This is just what's happening. This is being progressive. This is evolving. This is for your health, for your safety. It's like, because Trump, that's the fascist. That's what we got everybody to understand. That's the bad guy right there. From Rob Robinson, reminds me of the original Rollerball movie.
It's been a while since I watched it.
Is it about pens?
It's basically kind of like rollerblading. Football meets rollerblading meets murdering people.
Ooh, sounds good. Half the NFL has COVID, yet they have a vaccine mandate. Yeah, like we were seeing with what's his face?
Jim Cramer and
somebody, an unvaxxed football player got COVID, but then he said that many of like the vaccinated players are never tested, and he said many of them are playing with COVID like all the time. They just the vaxxed ones are not tested.
Well, the thing that's interesting is like all these people who are like double vaxxed with the booster, like Jim Cramer and Liz Warren and Cory Booker, all got COVID.
Interesting.
By the way, YouTube, we're not doctors. Do not take your medical advice from people on YouTube or social media.
We're comedians and social media commentators. We're
just making casual observations of what's happening in the real world.
People don't listen to us. Yeah. I mean, like, yeah. I mean, why would you listen to Joe Rogan to take his medical advice? You know, you got to listen to the Jonas Brothers. You got to listen to Stephen Colbert. You got to listen to Big Bird. Those are the trusted medical sources. Okay. In Singapore, we have to have an app on our phones to enter places or a device given by the state.
That's crazy.
That's crazy. I heard about that. Damn Singapore.
Yeah. No, Singapore is known for their authoritarianism, so I'm not surprised by that.
Oy. Scary, guys, but it's okay. You have to be willing to stand up for it, because it's like that matters, you know? Like, well, look what all those pilots did. They kind of stood up. They all got the freedom flu, and then suddenly certain airlines were not mandating all of their employees to get it. So
Bill is pointing out apparently Brian Stelter got it too.
Really interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. And Kyrie, I've talked about this, I think, on a past episode too. But
Kyrie
he's plays with Brooklyn Nets, and he can only play away games. But they recently took him off the bench, I guess because they needed him. And he can test. He has to do like 5 negative tests in a row, but now he can play. Yeah. It's crazy. Wow. But he stood his ground. And that's pretty dope.
I respect that.
I respect it too. Okay, cool. Quickly, I want to shout out our sponsor, Cushy Dreams. I don't know, Comix, if you struggle with any kind of anxiety in your life, but I do. And I think you guys should check out cushydreams.com. They specialize in high quality CBD products like pre-rolls and also in tins, the bud. I talk like such a boomer sometimes.
I don't have anxiety, but I definitely have a problem shutting my brain off at times.
Oh yeah, you would be a candidate. You would love Cushy Dreams. I really like the pre-rolls. They come in a nifty 5-pack, very portable, very high quality stuff. You're not going to get high from it, as you can get all the benefits of CBD without going to La La Land, which means no munchies. They have different indica sativa blends like Relax, Dream, Create, Energy, Hustle. So no matter what mood you want to have, a little bit up, a little bit down, Cushy Dreams has your back. They do tons of testing to ensure compliance and purity. You can find that on their lab results tab of their website, cushydreams.com. That's KUSHY dreams.com. At the checkout, use promo code CMP to get 20% off plus free shipping. Give yourselves the gift of peace. You can tell I'm not reading the read. I'm just going off book here.
That's fine.
Cushydreams.com. Use promo code CMP. Get yourself relaxing. Maxing, relaxing.
I love what Thomas McNulty says. Or did it jump? No, I'm sorry. No. It was you know nothing, John Snowden. Comix looks like he deals with anxiety the old school way. He chases it with booze.
Yeah. I'm so excited to fully be drinking the next couple of days. Like my boyfriend's family doesn't really drink, so I kind of, which is kind of a nice change of pace from my family, who my dad is constantly drinking, but they're all over the country. They're kind of spread out. So it's really just going to be me and my own bottle of wine, which I'm fine with. I'm comfortable with that. You know, I'm allowing myself a couple of days of YOLO.
That's good. I'm not really a big drinker, but I do enjoy my whiskey. Sometimes I use it for inspiration when I'm recording. Kind of loosens things up a bit. So,
your Invisalign is probably going to smell like whiskey then.
Yeah, I gotta be careful.
Better than jizz, I guess.
Yeah, better than jizz.
Harry Lime, thanks for the Canadian super chat. Canadian, California. I don't know what the CA is. Okay.
Oh, that's Canadian. It's Canadian.
Oh, right. Oh, all right there. No, that's Australian. God damn it. Okay. What
you gotta end everything like it's a question. You gotta say A.
A. Oh.
But technically, everything sounding like a question is more kind of like West Coast and Vancouver.
Okay, true. Okay, what movies are you most excited to see? What do you think was the biggest bomb or disappointment of 2021?
Oh, Eternals.
Oh boy!
If you ever want to have some fun, it's really it can be a good time screwing with the Marvel stands. I did this one tweet, and it was troll bait, and it was very apparent troll bait, and there's still people that bit. I said this triggered the MCU stands. I was like, at the same time, Eternals had 12 people in the theater, and I said the one for No Way Home is almost sold out, and it was like a few things here and there. And then I was going at it with a friend because he was like, what's the point of this tweet? And I kind of told him, like, I'm just trolling. And he's like, oh, okay, I got it. And right after that, bam, like clockwork, people just start hammering that tweet.
Yeah,
it was fucking hilarious.
A lot of the FNT guys like to do this. You like to troll people, and it's like what the reaction is, and you kind of just like to set a match and walk away and see people freak out.
Oh yeah, I mean it's funny, and the whole point. I just used the whole thing with Eternals versus Spider-Man. My whole point is that they were easily triggered. Yeah, and I even said it, and it was in my first sentence of the tweet.
Yeah,
and fucking clockwork.
And then here we go. Easily triggered. Yeah. Oh God, Eternals. Oh man.
That movie was terrible. I didn't bother seeing Shang-Chi or Black Widow. I probably should have, but Eternals was terrible. Spider-Man No Way Home was very good. I enjoyed it a lot.
I've seen it twice and I cried at different times, both times I saw it. And I mean, I guess we can spoil it at this point. Yeah, I don't know. It's so funny because even my boyfriend's 10-year-old son was like, "Oh yeah, I know both of the Spider-Mans are gonna come back." So that part wasn't a surprise to him, but yeah, definitely
there were several things in there that I knew was going to happen. Not for any particular reason. I knew that Charlie Cox was coming back, and it made and there were rumors that he was going to be his lawyer, and sure shit, he was there. And I also knew that you can't have the villains without their prospective Spider-Man.
Right. They
so
have
that
to
was
match
kind of
up
obvious.
To their people. Willem Dafoe blew me away.
He was fucking great.
I'm so impressed with him. And you just if you just watch his face, it's almost like watching a master class in acting, how he would go from the Green Goblin guy, and then you watch him turn into the regular guy. It's really, it's beautiful to watch.
Have you seen him in Shadow of the Vampire?
No.
Oh my God, he is great in that. I mean, that movie is wonderful. He plays the vampire.
He's got such an elastic face. He has a crazy ass face, but it's so good for character acting. It's just it works for him. So I hope, I don't know, maybe they'll put him in a Joker. I don't know, or maybe they're done doing.
Yeah,
he's an actual actor. Yeah,
he would be great as the Joker. And if you ever seen the original person that they based the Joker off of, there was a movie called The Man Who Laughed. And if you Google that, you can pull up the poster for it, and you can see the guy that they basically based him off of. And they end up doing a comic book series for Batman called The Man Who Laughed. Yeah.
Ew, this is creepy looking.
Yeah, right.
Ugh. All right, I'm gonna pull this up.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. I should probably say words right now since you're looking for things. Yeah, okay. There we go. Yeah, look at that.
This is Conrad Veidt.
Yeah.
Damn, that's a lot of teeth.
Yeah, I mean, look how iconic that is. And it's like you can just by pulling that up, you know that that's the Joker.
Very jokery. Yeah. Oh God, he would be so good. That's such an interesting tidbit.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Look at us. This was fun, Comics. It's so funny. I was like, oh, don't say I don't even know your real name. So there's like there's no worry.
I'll tell you when we're done.
Okay. Ooh.
Like everybody, I think everybody in FNT knows.
Okay.
Maybe with the exception of Odin and Naz, but everybody knows my name.
Okay.
On FNT,
smart.
that is.
It's so smart, though. I think if people over the years had known what jobs I had, they would have absolutely tried to get me fired.
Well, there have been people that have gone after other YouTubers that I know. That Umbrella guy, he got doxxed. And like fucking Rich Johnson from Bleeding Cool fucking published the dude's name. And pretty damn near close to where he lived. And I probably shouldn't have said that because of broadcasting, but still. It shows you the lengths that these people will fucking go through to do this stuff. Yeah. And he's had people like call where he works at and try to get him fired from his job. And thankfully that didn't happen. I mean, he's had like, I don't know if that was like people sending like photos of his daughter or something.
Wow.
I mean,
that is
like
so fucked up.
Shit. All for talking about comic books and bashing SJWs on Twitter and YouTube. That's like, how insane society is right now.
The people who do this have no power in their own lives, or they feel they have no power in their own lives. They feel like they've lost control of their direction, their goals. They're miserable people, and the only way they can feel like they can take power back is by destroying somebody else. I feel like people tend to either you're building on something, you're creating something, or you're destroying something. And if you're less evolved, you'll be more inclined to destroy somebody else. So it's like ultimately, I don't know, a sign of like a weak person.
Mm-hmm.
From Spineless, right? Just saying hi. Hi, Spineless. He's like, I know you're retarded, so I'm going to type out how to pronounce this.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
Yes, I did actually do Poison Ivy for Halloween a couple years ago, and it was awesome because I got my hot glue gun thing out and like made the whole thing. It was dope. Okay, Comics, this was a pleasure. You're a delight.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming on. Where can people find you and follow you? And also, if you want to talk about what kind of videos people can see on your YouTube channel.
Oh man. So that's kind of funny. That's a funny story. Going back to when I started, I didn't show my face for the longest time. I kind of developed this character, and it's the reason why I've gone back to the animated avatar that I used. And so it confuses people, right? So after I was on FNT, Gary convinced me to do a face reveal, which I did. So I started live streaming, showing my face rather than just my avatar. And I actually went back to going to do that. So a lot of people get confused when they show up and they don't see me and they hear me doing this funny accent. And the reason why is because that's how I initially did things. More and more people start showing up. I stopped doing it for a bit. I think I stopped probably doing it for about a year and a half. And I felt like I was taking myself way too seriously. So I went back to doing that. So if you go to my channel and watch my content and you see somebody who looks like this, that's me. And it's a character and it's just me having fun. I just want to make people laugh and make fun of shit. That's what I want to do. So where you can find me, obviously on YouTube and on Twitter at Comics Division. And the type of content I do, I talk about entertainment. I got some stuff, I'm trying to get out this week. I need to get my Spider-Man review out. I need to get my Arcane review out. Now, I also want to talk about The Matrix once I finally go and see it, which will probably end up being around Monday. And yeah, I like to shit post on Twitter and just say goofy shit that people probably mistake for me being serious.
That's what Twitter likes to do, but it's good. Yeah. We got to laugh. We got to make fun of people. We got to call out the ridiculousness. Yeah. And
there's one other thing I forgot to talk about. I talk about the Great Reset on Unsafe Space. That's something that I find.
Oh, I love Carrie Smith.
Carrie Smith is awesome. So is Carter. But you know, that's where I get serious, is when I talk about the Great Reset, because I think that is something that, I want to say potentially, if it actually gets implemented, will basically go and destroy our society.
It'll be all over. And people don't realize how we're not that far away. We're not a few decisions away from that happening, you know?
And Leopold apparently has watched me for a while, because he remembers my older Wolverine looking avatar.
Ooh.
But the funny thing about the evolution of the avatars, specifically, there was one very similar that looked like this, but it had more like a Wolverine look to it.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of pose was taken from Ian Curtis, who was lead singer of Joy Division, from this very famous picture. So he had, you know, the cigarette hanging out.
Oh,
so
cool.
I commissioned a piece of artwork to be drawn like that. The guy kind of did like a Wolverine one. I was like, that's cool. I'll go with that. And then I had everything redesigned, and then I started coming up with the avatars, and I started using that, you know, for my videos. And I stopped, like I said, and now I've gone back to it.
Now you're back. Awesome. Yep. From Crash Mondo, have you ever watched a documentary on the cult of Scientology? SJWs behave exactly the same. They've been brainwashed, literally.
Yeah.
True. Also, regarding all this COVID stuff, about 30%, I was watching this video about like the mass, basically society is under a mass psychosis. 30% of people are fully brainwashed. 30% of people can never be hypnotized or brainwashed, which is us. And then there's 40% of people that can kind of go either way. These are the people that like, okay, yes, I will get the shot to keep my job. Okay, fine. Like they can be sort of pressured either way.
I think the big thing is that we need to be cognizant that nobody is immune to this stuff. You know, everybody can be, you know, brainwashed or suckered into something. And it's that
true.
It's the reason why bubbles are bad. Is that when you're only seeing one side of the story, and that's kind of the big issue with the SJWs, right? Is they're in their own bubble, and they refuse to hear the other side. The only way you know that your side has the right ideas is by listening to the other side. Because if you don't do that, then you won't know whether your ideas are good or bad.
What are your favorite sources to listen to, I guess, from the other side, or to keep up with what the other side is thinking?
Well, I mean, the funny thing for us, it's a lot easier. All we have to do is turn on the fucking news.
That's true. Right? It's just the TV. Yeah.
You know, TV, Twitter. You know, it's
everything that's easy.
My favorite. It's not because I actively watch it. It's because it's what is on our TV downstairs. I love watching The View because their takes are so terrible. Oh my God.
Yeah, they're so dumb. Like, and I only watch
Behar's stupid.
When I'm in like a doctor waiting office or something, and I'm just like, I'm just like, they're so confidently stupid. It blows me away. They're so confident in their dumbass opinions.
But they are like the biggest spreaders of misinformation.
True.
Because it's like, I mean, I am legit appalled, but it's like, I get why people think this way, right? Because the media is basically providing the narrative for people who are in the bubble, the normies that buy into the whole January 6th thing and whatnot, is because this narrative is being pushed by the mainstream media, by entertainment, by our politicians. And so I understand why people fail to break out of that bubble. And so, like I said, even on our own side too, we need to make sure that we don't stay in a bubble. We have to listen to the other side to know that our ideas are good.
True. And also try to appeal to the other side, maybe through humor.
Yeah.
For example, I'm recording an album on Thursday, January 6th at Governor's in Levittown. Everybody, I better see you there. All right, one last super chat from Matthew Hammond. The American Revolution was only supported by a small fraction of the populace. Most wanted to be left alone.
Yeah. Well, that's the big thing, is it doesn't take a large movement to change things, right? I mean, progressives only make up 8% of the population when it comes to, you know, political views. The majority is dominated by people who are either liberal to conservative that feel disenfranchised, and moderates too. And yeah, I mean, you can actually change the culture and change the world with only 8 to 10% of the population.
True.
It's just frightening.
Did you know, Comix, that you seem like a nice guy, but you could alter your voice to be Satan?
I could definitely alter my voice to be Satan.
Oh my God! How have you not been doing that this whole time?
Oh, I don't know.
You should have done the whole episode like that.
You should hear Blue-Haired Land Whale. I don't have it set up on my Go XLR anymore, but I need to get that set up so I can do the voice.
That's very impressive. Everybody, follow Comics Division on Twitter at Comics Division. Subscribe to his YouTube channel. Catch us on Friday Night Tights whenever you can. Anything else you want to plug or promote, or a final thought?
Just obviously make sure to watch Unsafe Space and Friday Night Tights, because Friday Night Tights is amazing.
And so are you, Comics.
Thank you. So are you, Chrissie.
Oh, stop it. Thank you. Thank you, chat, for your comments and questions. And we'll see you next time. Bye.